What's up, everybody? It's K4K Crypto, and we got the green background. It's green. Anybody know why it's green? It's because we're up 3.5x in 60 days in Hex. Who else is up 3.5x? Almost nobody. I don't think anybody. We're like taking over all the top coin ranking site positions, and everyone's like blind to it in Cryptosphere. Isn't that crazy? Everyone's just blind to it. They're like, that coin that went up 10,000x, it's running again, but we're just not gonna talk about it. I mean, they probably won't be able to ignore it this next cycle. I think everyone that followed those other influencers got wrecked last cycle, like all the FTX shillers, all the Luna shillers, all the Celsius shillers. They should all lose all of their respect, pretty much. Like, you can't just promote the opposite of crypto and then claim to be a crypto influencer and then expect people to respect your opinions and stuff. So like, dude, if you ever promoted that, like, I guess you can redeem yourself at some point, but I think you just got to take the L. Like, you got to really be like, boom, I'm trolling at this point. If I ever promoted Celsius, you guys should put my feet to the fire. Like, if I did that, I should eat crap for that, right? And so I think that's what a lot of these, that's the thing with a lot of new people coming into the market. They just see high follower count, must be more right, and it's couldn't be further from the truth, honestly. I think the people who promote the good, honest projects get like some of the least coverage, at least by the algorithm and such. But I think a lot of it is just that people will promote things that give them the biggest amount of funding, and so they'll just promote it. They don't really care who gets wrecked, and then that just allows them to put more money into marketing. So they're kind of just benefiting from the scamming part of crypto, and they're scamming in every industry. I know that this is happening behind the scenes because I've personally been offered six-figure income, like yearly income, just to promote an exchange and get a share of the fees. And they're like, yeah, depending on how many you bring, you can make up to this amount of money to our platform. And I'm just like, LOL, like, I can't believe like they have these budgets to get people wrecked so hard. Like, these exchanges want people to come to their casino and get wrecked, either to exit scam them or to get them to trade, which is basically just getting someone to believe they can know the future within the few like minutes or days or weeks. And they're like, oh man, I didn't know the future within a few days or weeks, and now I lost all my money. Crypto's the scam. And it's like, dude, you weren't even using crypto if you're on a centralized exchange. You got to get off of those things. Hexagons are up 3.5x, which is 350% in the last 2 months. This is the last 63 days, 361%. Kaboom, kabam, wablam. All right, we're absolutely destroying it in this bear market. We went up 10,000x in one cycle, in a single cycle. 10,000x. Facts. 10,000x from the bottom. Hex did it. Richard Hart, the creator, said it would, or said it was designed to do 10,000x in less than 2.5 years. It did it in 1.7. We know Pulsechain's coming. We know the new big documentary is coming. We know Pulsex is going to launch on Pulsechain. These are the three projects I think will do outstanding in the next bull run. If you're not holding these, there's probably no hope for you, especially if you've seen this video and you don't look into it further. At least do more research. Team Win is called that for a reason. We've got the biggest, most active community in crypto. We are still gatekept. They don't list us properly on coin ranking sites. They pretend they don't understand how market cap should be calculated. They make up extra goalposts to try and change it, or just straight up lie and don't place us in the right spot. But we are listed on the Forbes list. We're like number 11 now. We're on like the Yahoo Finance list correctly, I think. Etherscan, we just moved it up another rank. This is just the start, and I think people are realizing after everything else collapsed that wasn't Hex in crypto last year, they're looking for other options. And I think a lot of other, even people who disliked Hex are thinking, that works so good, I'm gonna copy it, but I'm not gonna promote Hex. And a lot of people have tried that, and all of them failed. Don't try and go against the Hex squad, because you're just gonna get steamrolled. You're gonna regret it. You're not gonna be like, man, I could have just bought Hex. Man, I could have just bought Pulsechain. I knew it was gonna do good and I didn't. Man, I knew I could have bought Pulsex and it was gonna buy and burn my way to super financial freedom, but I didn't do it. You don't want to be that guy. You just don't want to be that guy. You can see it. You know it's been crushing it. It crushed it all last cycle. The community's still growing. We have more stakers every single day. That means there's people buying who won't sell for years. How are you going to outperform the crypto where people buy it and then don't sell for years? Nothing else does that. No one else in crypto has that going on. They have fake locked up liquidity, or they do burns of supply that wasn't going to hit the market anyway, and also fake partnerships and all that. All these other narratives just don't work. What matters is there more buying than selling? Okay, how can you make people not want to sell it? Oh, reward them. Okay. It works. It's so simple. It's like stupid. It just works. It's the perfect codified pumpamental to make price appreciate. Makes it a better store of value. You got to check it out. Got to check out this ecosystem if you're new to crypto. This is just a quick update, me sharing some of my thoughts leading into Testnet v3, which is coming up very shortly. They just squashed the last bug that wasn't allowing Aragon client to sync. Now that that's fixed, they are already past stage 7, which was the longest one. They're like, last I checked, they were on stage 9. Once we have testnet v3, after they do a little bit of fixing of the tooling so that people can use the block explorer and all that and point everything to where it's supposed to go, we have testnet v3, and then it's mainnet launch. And mainnet launch is going to be crazy, guys. And testnet v3 is going to give us all this new real information. I don't want to make fluff content where I'm just talking about like, oh, what could happen, what could happen, what could happen. I like to give you guys, hey, here's some real math we have about how this AMM fixer bot is actually working. Because apparently, I mean, I can't say any specifics, but I think there's going to be some surprises with testnet v3 about how some of this liquidity is redeployed. Like, we haven't even seen if there's any updates with the incentive token and stuff like that, and the pulsex DAO, where we can choose, people can vote on which third-party tokens they can earn, stuff like that. So there's all that stuff to explore. I've been waiting for testnet v3 just like everybody else so that I can make these awesome videos showing you guys how to be ready for launch. I don't want to just make episodes every week waiting for testnet v3. We don't have any new updates. We're just waiting for it. I just want to see it, and then I can tell you guys more about it with specifics and links and websites to go to and tools you can use, charts you can check, all that type of stuff. I want to just have that stuff solid and ready whenever testnet v3 is out, and you can't really do it until it's out to show people how to use it so that they can be ready for mainnet. And plus, I probably want to make them in a way, if possible, that it's evergreen content so that I don't have to make a new one like every week after Pulsechain's out to like tell people how to do it because I didn't make it evergreen. Like if I were to make a video about how to do it right now, in theory, it's just not as good as if testnet v3 is out and I'm just like, yo, this is the site. Here's exactly how you do it. These steps are going to get you in so that you can buy it as soon as possible, so that you can access your funds as soon as possible. Maybe you have plans for doing something right away. Maybe you have plans for just moving your coins to maybe safer wallet addresses or something like that. There's lots of different strategies at launch. And once we actually see how that AMM fixer bot is going to work, and we can see some of that like initial hype and price performance on V3, I think it's going to get people even more hyped. People are you think people are hyped now with Hex being up 350%? Just wait till you see people's reactions when they see candles and the charts and all the tooling and the price performance of Pulse and Pulsex and Pulsechain Hex when testnet v3 launches. People are going to be like, holy crap, what? This can happen on mainnet launch? Everyone's just going to FOMO. You think you're not going to FOMO, but there's going to be so many people who they don't watch these videos. They don't prepare themselves with a plan. They will just literally buy day one. Honestly, they might even be right. If you look at Ethereum, and I mean that to some degree, not like definitely just buy day one with everything. I'm not saying that. But if you just look back and you look at the time scale of like Ethereum launch, okay, sweet. Early people who got in before it launched, they paid like 30 cents and it went down to like 15 cents on Kraken. Okay, so say they got it in at 30 cents. Well, whenever it launched and there was a price, it was immediately 10x. It was like $3 per Ethereum. If you immediately got a 10x on your money in like a day, you were just like, oh, Pulsechain launched, everything I put in is 10x. People are going to take profit because I just don't see these whales in Pulsechain and Pulsex letting other whales come in and get a better deal than they paid to have the privilege of waiting this whole bear market without access to that capital. So I think they're going to protect their positions, and I don't think these whales who put in 10 and 15 million or whatever into these sacrifices, I don't think they're just like, oh crap, I put in all my money and I have to sell at day one. No, I think if you've got tens of millions to throw at something that you have no legal rights to or whatever, you have extra money in the clip, And so I think they're likely to be buyers, net buyers, as opposed to sellers. Maybe they'll provide liquidity. You can consider that potentially selling, but they're probably going to go in some largest ranges that they're going to probably try and consolidate down into to control it as much as they can if they're going to provide liquidity. But I think a lot of people are going to FOMO, and that's going to cause a huge price spike. And a lot of people in Testnet V3, when it comes out, they're going to see, whoa, if I just buy as soon as possible, I can just flip it. And so there are those people who are going to do those trades who they just want to buy it, flip it, and then see how it settles. I don't think that is the best strategy for most people. Most people, you just want to buy it and hold it. Ethereum is up over $1,500 today. Just a few years ago, it was like 30 cents. Even if you bought it at 10x at launch, you bought it at $3 and it's $1,500. Are they complaining? No, I think they're totally crushing it, and they're super happy that they bought as early as they did. Of course, it's like, oh, if I waited for a bit of a correction, then I could have had X times more. And that's why I have all these clips and videos in the last several months, ever since I thought the bottom was in, to tell people to dollar cost average is the best strategy. Like, I literally told my editor, I was like, yo, it's time to start releasing videos. Like, whenever Hex was down below like 3 cents, I was like, it's time to start releasing videos telling people the importance of dollar cost averaging. Use some clips of Richard talking about it. Use some clips of me talking about it. That's when I started releasing all those nice clips for people. If you've been enjoying those, I hope people took it to heart, because now you're up massively. It's been awesome if you're a dollar cost averager, which I think everyone in Hex should understand. And we also dollar cost average in using laddering stakes. That's something I've been requested to make a video on, which I will likely do in the near future, because it's very important. I think Hex is just like, it's an amazing safeguard against yourself. There's not many things in crypto that actually save you from yourself. In fact, there's lots of things in crypto that wreck you. Having something that actually saves you in crypto as opposed to wreck you is very handy to have in your back pocket. I think we're still extremely early. We haven't even launched yet, and people are like, oh man, am I late? It's like, dude, stop trolling yourself. It's not that complicated. I mean, it's not that competitive. It's also not that complicated as well. You buy something that a lot of people already have tons and tons of faith in. The people who hold crypto the longest, verifiably on chain, those are the other people that you're kind of storing your wealth and hope with, is the people who have the longest time preference, and they have the longest time frame that they are happy to not sell. You're not getting in with these groups of meme coin guys who are like, oh yeah, I know they always pump, and then you sell it on a 5x and then you get out. And it's like, all these short-term games are just, you just go in this revolving door of, did I win this time? Oh, no, I lost this time. Did I win this time? Yep. Did I win this time? Nope. And then you just keep going around through the revolving door of these meme coins. And I think that's more like gambling in crypto, is these things where people buy it because they know there's hype behind it only. Like, it's just hype. Like, oh, this one, they have a partnership coming up, or they're gonna build this. And it's like, just get the stuff we know pumps the hardest. Dex coins, I think they're still underrated because they just haven't been done super well before. But dexes are the future of trading, especially cross-chain dexes, especially if we get that functionality eventually in Pulsex, and also layer ones. Before I go on this tangent. Oh, and time locking staking coins. They're like the top 3 coins to hold. Everything else is basically a meme. I mean, oracles are like something, people use them, but there's things people use that they shouldn't use. And so it just gets lots of, ambient buy pressure. But DEX coins are possibly the most bullish one, in my opinion. You're actually generating direct revenue, and you can funnel that money into, like, you can pump the coin, you can make it a treasury, and the DAO chooses how it allocates the money, stuff like that. So actually generating fees and all that, it's just a great way to monetize what is definitely going to happen, and that's going to be people are going to trade in crypto. It's going to happen. So you might as well extract some of those people's losses and put it into something that will actually help people who hold long term. It just basically makes you the house who gets to rake in on everybody else trying to trade and time the market, when you're just happy to sit there and be like, you thought it was going to go that way? Well, I'll take a percent of that over here for your right to go and try that. I don't see why Richard and team wouldn't continue to keep upgrading the Pulsex platform into like V3 version, a V4 version, and become eventually cross-chain compatible, Maybe it'll be what's routed through for the wallet coin, and then that's even more volume that will go through pulsex. The wallet coin is going to be awesome as well if it gets percentage of the wallet fees. That's built in. As they continue to update and improve dexes, I don't see why pulsex wouldn't get more improvements and stuff along the way, unless they're literally like gate kept through some licensing or something like that. And even then you can just pay for a license and then you're like, boom. So as pulsex gets more and more of those updates and we see V3 type style stuff, I think Richard and team are going to come up with more and more awesome ideas for his tokens. Like he's not going to go, I'm going to make a new dex. I doubt that's going to happen. So that's just more value built on top of something. Like it hasn't even happened yet. It hasn't been announced yet. No one talks about it. That's the time to accumulate something before everyone's like, yo, pulsex is going to have this upgrade soon. Maybe in a few months it'll have this awesome thing which allows more users to come. Once that's out, that means a ton of other people have already accumulated, or they're going to start to. And like, if you just heard that, well, guess what? Where'd you hear that from? A guy who already knew it. So he probably already bought. This is like the earliest you can get, other than being a sacrificer for these coins, to accumulate this stuff. This is like as early as you can get. When the stuff launches in the first few months, if you're dollar cost averaging in, remember, no financial advice or anything like that on this channel, or legal advice for that matter. It's just so simple, and you don't have to put tons of money in. There's people who put in $100 into Hex and turned it into $1 million. Why wouldn't you put some money in something that can actually has the potential to do this stuff? Like, people will spend $100 on some video game skins. They would rather do that than potentially make $1 million. It's like, why not just get the same enjoyment you get out of those video game skins or whatever you need the money for or something like that, and just put it into something that can also get those skins in a, I don't know, I guess it's delayed gratification, because it doesn't immediately pay off. You know, when you buy if you buy a crypto, it's not immediately, oh, I 10x my money. You have to wait some time. So I think the biggest hurdle for people to get over in crypto is realizing investing is actually a long-term game. Play the best long-term games with the long-term mindset people, and you win. If you play the short-term games, you get short-term gains, and long-term just seems to pay better. Anything like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hex crushed it. Only a few other things did. Layer 1s and some DEX coins, they did all right. It's crazy because the layer 1s, they have all these other problems, yet they still pumped hard as heck. And Richard is trying to make Pulsechain like as solid as possible. And what's more solid than Ethereum? We're basically Ethereum 2.0, but better. We got 10-second blocks. They got 12-second. So we're faster. We're cheaper. Better? We just have, we also have everybody in the world on Ethereum gets copies of it on Pulsechain. The biggest influencers in the space sacrificed for Pulsechain and pulsex. They're going to talk about it. The gates are going to be blown away, destroyed. They want the gains. They just didn't have a way to make money on Hex before. So why would they talk about it and make themselves look like noobs in crypto? I mean, they still are noobs, but to their own audience who believes in what they say, they don't want to look like noobs. Like, oh, why didn't we just listen to Richard the whole time? That's why they don't talk about Hex, because they're like, oh, all roads that go to Hex lead to Richard Hart, and they don't want to get one-upped by Richard Hart. I do not care how someone presents themselves if they're right. Argue with points, not people. And I want to be on the team that wants to do the best in crypto, and that's Richard's team. And there are teams behind every crypto. Other than, I mean, even Bitcoin has teams of people who work on Bitcoin code. I mean, their roadmap's pretty bad, and they don't really keep to it very often. There's always teams in crypto. There's teams everywhere. What? It's not like this stuff just pops up and people are like, oh man, this is crazy. There's a new crypto that no one's behind. Oh, I'm getting that one. No, you do actually depend on people. There's some limits to decentralization. Someone has to do the work ahead of time. You know, they put money up front. It's a risk to build something that they want to release to the world, and other people come into the market and they go, wow, that thing you created is awesome and I want some of it. Well, you're only going to get it if you follow the rules that are basically on chain, if it's real crypto. As long as it's actually a good closed loop system that no one actually has extra secret access to or unfair rights to, it seems to do extremely well. That's why Bitcoin's really good. That's why Ethereum's really good. I mean, Bitcoin's not that great anymore because it doesn't go up as much as everything else. I guess it's just a great introductory thing to talk to people about in crypto because they've probably heard the name and then they're more familiar with it. And then you can talk about other stuff that is similar so they can kind of use analogy to get to better understanding. All in all, I just wanted to just let everybody know I'm super excited about this awesome Hex pump. I hope you all dollar cost averaged in. Hope my videos have been helpful. I'm still keeping new videos every day on the channel. I want to make the more specifically helpful content whenever Testnet v3 comes out, which is actually super soon, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Richard was saying it was 3 weeks away, like a month or so ago, on a hidden unknown stream. But then we had that little bug with the Aragon client. So now we're super close. And whenever that launches, I think a lot of people are going to FOMO even more. As you can see, the hex price. And if you look at the liquidity as well, it looks like we're just going to shoot up even more. And this is before Pulsechain launch. And getting a copy of the best asset on Ethereum, which is hex, for free. If you hold it before the fork, you just get it, and that only happens one time. I think a lot of people are catching on to that is a solid deal, and they're happy to take that risk. And I think we're only like an 8x away from all-time high. It's like, dude, the bear market can be erased and forgotten so quickly. People sell because the price is going down, and then they sell because the price goes down, and then they sell because the price goes down. But guess what? It works the other way too. They buy because the price goes up, and then they buy because the price went up, and then they buy because the price went up.
Nice.
It's the same stuff Richard's been saying since the beginning. It's just information that's for free out there if people listen. You know, this information's only as valuable as you make it to yourself. If you get the best advice in the world but ignore it, you know, you just kind of are destroying value. I would recommend looking into Richard Hart's videos, his books. I think you'll do extremely well, especially coming into this bull market. Don't forget to check out t.me/Pulse Theory. That's my Telegram group, t.me/Pulse Theory. We also have a Discord. You can make AI generated art in there just by typing a command, which is really cool. So people make some really cool hex stuff in there. So you can like make cool profile pics and stuff for free. Follow me on Twitter at K4K I have an Instagram as well. Apparently people were telling me like they were doing video calls with me on Instagram. I have not done any video calls with anybody on Instagram. Be careful of imposters. Scammers are everywhere, especially in the DMs. If I'm DMing you, it's probably not actually me. Just wanted to have this update while we're all super green and everyone's super happy. Just remember, dollar cost average, hold long term. It's a boring sales pitch, but it's actually what works best and has the least waste. It's the least waste of your time. If you're spending time every day just looking at the chart, trying to decide when to get in, when to get out, imagine if you just bought and then you were like, oh, I'm going to do the rest of my day. And then, you know, the next week that you go to dollar cost average in, you're like, all right, I'm just going to buy and not think about it. I'm going to buy and not think about it. If you aren't wasting all your time thinking about when you're going to get in and when you're going to get out, you have more time to either enjoy your life, make more income to actually be able to invest more, hobbies, friends, family, all the awesome things of life that aren't looking at a chart, that aren't thinking you can predict price. Just spend that time improving the world around you, helping out friends and family. It's so smart to get yourself to a point where you aren't spending your time on things that don't scale. And you learn about this in Richard's book. Everything I've learned from Richard has basically come true and have been found to come true. I'm super thankful for that. And I'm glad that he made Hex. And we've got Pulsechain and pulsex coming. And there's more videos to come. I hope you guys will have an awesome day. I'm signing out. Peace, everybody.